We are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and otherwise. What's up? My name is Devious. We are streaming today. Just copy paste this all around. Oh, hey, Nixie, what's up? How you doing? How art thou this fine day? Give me a moment whilst I post my link literally everywhere. That irked me for doing so. Nixie, I have questions. I could swear that those are the same people. Could be wrong. So you're just going insane, so that's fine. Just a moment, guys, whilst I do things. What's up, Goma? I'm doing quite well today. I'm having a great time. More or less. I'm vibing. And it's a good thing. Let's see, who else can I annoy with my things? Right. Okay. Definitely gonna post here because that's the psychopath I'll probably be getting art from. Because he's a nerd. Good. No, I'm doing okay. I'm doing quite well, in fact. I'm very much in a vibe type of mood. So that's just how things is gonna be. So if you'll allow me a moment, I'm going to try and ghetto-fy a character sheet real quick. So, gotta remember, it's about to be extremely crazy. Yeah, I'm aware. So, the game has a name now. It's called Escalation. At least that's what I'm going with immediately. And as you can see, we have been doing a lot of stuff. Right. This is going to be getting a kind of quick draw character sheet ready, and then I'll get into character creation, because I'm going to be building one of my own, and then I will get to work in the doing of things. Don't have a tab here, which is unfortunate. So I see. Gonna try and get these lined up, but without a tab, it's not really viable. But it'll be okay. Yeah, case in point, those are just gonna be off. That's fine. Just filling in some default stats here. doesn't need to look this good, but hey, I want it to be somewhat lined up, you know? I feel like I'm missing something, and I am missing mana. Which is fine. It's not that hard to add in. Then combat actions, that's not going to change, so that's fine. If you guys want a quick explanation as to what I'm doing, I am building my own tabletop RPG. What you're seeing on the right side is some study materials as well as the system itself. It's currently 20 pages, which is quite lengthy. I'm actually going to kind of compress that down into like columns, and then I'm going to try and make this a booklet that you can print out, staple in the middle, and then it makes its own little book thing, because I really like that format. Obviously it needs some formatting help, but yeah, I've made this. It is designed to be a tabletop system where you can sort of build a character fairly quickly, and it's very straightforward in how it plays. At least I'm trying to make it that way. But it's also got enough crunch that you can sort of differentiate different styles of doing things. There's combat and non-combat stats, and the way I want this to go is I want there to be a way to scale up without any issues at all. So I want there to be a way to take your character that you've been on this long, arduous journey with, and the example I use is like you start as some adventurer, then you fight your way through this sort of prophecy thing and end up a knight of the realm in command of his own retinue. So then you go from normal tabletop up to skirmish game, and you can still use those characters back and forth without issue. Then crank that up again, like, okay, you're a noble knight with his own retinue. You've done so well that you get promoted to like the general of the army. Now you can just go full on war game with it and have like Warhammer-esque battles. And that is the goal. I want it to be simple enough that it can jump up and down like that, but I want it to be robust enough that no two characters really play the same. And I think I have done that, question mark? What are we finding out today? But anyway, I need to figure out character creation, which is right here. So to create a character, you have these stats here, which are your combat stats, and then these stats here, which are your non-combat stats. It's exactly as it says on the tin. So for the combat stats, the ones that are not like, I have a way to describe them. The ones that aren't speed, health, and mana, you have a bonus, and it just occurred to me I should probably write this in. And target. Okay. So the way this works is this is your offensive side and this is your defensive side. So say with fighting is the easiest actually. If someone comes up and tries to hit you with a sword, then they roll a d12 plus this bonus, and they're trying to beat this number. Does that make sense? So you inherently have an attack and defense on every stat that you can just look at and be like, okay, someone is shooting at me with a spell. So, okay, well, what does the spell attack? Defense. All right, here's my defense. You have to beat this. I want it to be really lightning quick. And I need to design an actual character sheet. Mag's been doing the character sheet at this point. He's done a great job. I haven't used it yet, and I thought it would be kind of disingenuous to use it here, so This is gonna vibe for the moment. But to create a character, and I know this is sort of janky, I've been adjusting things. Again, I need to format it properly. But we're still in the get stuff working phase. All characters start with 8 points to spend on whatever you want, and 4 points specifically for the non-combat stats. Basically my answer to people just juicing combat and nothing else. So we've got 4 points to spend down here, and I think I'm gonna do 1 into Psyche, which will raise my target number. The target number is always 6 plus your stat, unless you have a piece of gear that says otherwise. So simple 6 plus 1, that's a 7 now. And then I'm gonna do, I wanna make kind of an agile character. I'm looking to make sort of a Kingsglaive-esque, super mobile, kinda gish type character, right? So I'm gonna put 2 into there for agility. And then I'll give him 1 into body because I do want him to be a little bit tough. Or rather, a little bit more physical. So that's our non-combat stats done. That's the 4 for that. Now we can spend the 8 to buff any attribute. We can spend that on non-combat stats, but I do want this to be a combat-centric character, so we're going to stick with that. Right off the bat, I'm thinking I want him to be able to do some casting stuff. So I'm going to come down here and show y'all the casting shenanigans. That's equipment. Here we go. So we've got combat spells and mystical axe. Mystical axe is your sort of freeform out of combat spell crafting. And it's very much more of a conversation with your GM as opposed to these are your spells with these very specific effects. I wanted the specific effects to only be a combat thing. Because, you know, you're in a fight, you need to be able to just snap out a bolt really quick, right? Or something similar. Whatever you do in combat, it needs to be muscle memory to the point of instinct. So it stands to reason that those are very rigid and sort of non-versatile. Outside of combat, when you have the time to play around, then it makes a lot of sense that you'll be able to do other stuff without too much of a crazy issue. So I would like to have a little bit of viability outside of combat. Unfortunately, I seem to have forgotten that doing so would require our threshold ability to be a +2, and I've only got it at +1. He's going to be a psych caster. The rule for that is whenever you decide that you're going to be a caster, you pick wits or psyche, and that is your casting stat basically for that character's life. And as you can see, there's different versions of the casts that can do kind of different things. Basically, if you're a wits caster, I assume that you trained extensively and that you learn to be very methodical, very careful with your mana, so it costs less. But because you don't have like a natural connection to the magical, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you to do stuff. So the target number is higher, which means the number that you have to roll to accomplish whatever it is. But I want to be a Psycaster. However, we don't have enough points to really kick it over the line there, so we're just going to be where we are, and that's fine. And can basically do like prestidigitation stuff. Not that big of a deal. I have bypassed the character creation part entirely. Do a lot of scrolling up and down. If any of y'all have questions about this, by the way, hit me, because I'm going to be moving at Mach stupid this entire time. But okay, so we now have 8 points to put in any of this stuff. And I'm going to nuke that real quick. I know I just scrolled all the way back up. we're going to go back down and we're going to look at combat spells. Because there's a thing, should have checked this out before I scrolled down. We can spend 2 combat attribute points of the 8 to take a spell and either another spell or a modification for the spell. And I've got a very specific idea about this character and how I want him to play. So I am going to take the warp spell, so I can be a little bit more mobile. And I'm going to go ahead and put that here. So teleport yourself and up to your bulk limits. I forgot to put a limit there. Up to 4 plus casting away. Throw that in there. And I am going to utilize this little thing, which means it can be the cantrip modifier, or the cantrip modifier can be used. So, yeah. So, cantrip, it basically lowers the cost by 1. So, I'm actually not going to put the spell in there. There we go. So I'll be able to warp around with, like pretty reliably with only 1 mana as my cost. And because I took a spell and a modification, I could take another spell if I wanted to, but I want to be able to warp reliably no matter what, right? Because I took that, upon taking any spells for the first time, gain 5 mana. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust that now. So that was only 2 points, which means now we can spend others. First and foremost, I do want to up my distance a little bit, so I'm going to burn 2 of those on casting. And then I would definitely like to be good at fighting. This is going to be a melee-esque type character. I'm going to do 2 in fighting, and that leaves me 2, so I have to put those into defense. Defense is what is usually rolled when someone wants to attack you. So defense is very important for a combatant. Unfortunately, that is a very aggressive sort of setup. I think what I want to do actually, because I recently raised the spell, or not spell, the speed limit, the speed lower limit. And the original idea was I wanted this to be equal to your base speed, the warp. Because otherwise, why would you ever take it unless you just need to like jump somewhere? So I'm going to make that adjustment. It's legitimately just something I forgot to do earlier. Apologize. And so it's a little bit more obvious what's going on. There we go. So, that being said, I don't need to put on the 2 into casting. That can go back to base. I would like to put the other 2 into fighting, which would leave me with that. I'm totally okay with that. So this is a very aggressive type of character, which I'm all about. Like, if you know me, you know I like my aggression. So this is a pretty decent spread. I'm liking this. I would like to have a little more oomph to the movement. I guess I could Like, if I'm going to be spending the warp, I definitely want that to be a little bit further than my speed. Otherwise, what's the point, you know? I'm kind of thinking I'll move one defense over to casting, and that'll give me a little bit more onto the warp. Be quite an unfortunate moment if I end up needing that defense. So I'm just gonna go with this. This is a pretty decent spread. Said that a couple of times. Now we do equipment though. So basically, equipment at the moment is very simple. Ooh, excuse me. It's very simple. I think I actually put it. Oh, here we go. So newbie characters, which is like getting starting characters. I saw my cat next to me. Its papers were waving around. Basically, you start with 2 weapons, setting appropriate, and a set of basic armor of our choice, and we'll get to that as we get to it. And I think I'm about to make casting very much viable with what I'm about to pick. So one thing to note, bulk is kind of important. So as seen here, each piece of equipment listed has bulk value. Bulk limit is equal to twice the character's target number. So, body target number. So mine would be 14, which I may actually need to change because I might go for some chunky stuff. You never know. Now we get 2 weapons of our choice, now that we know what our bulk limit is. So, how are we gonna do this? That is the question. Do I want to dual wield? Kind of, but I don't think that's really a great idea. I definitely want to go melee. I'm thinking I want to go massive melee, because this gives me a lot of opportunities. So I'm gonna do that. So it's gonna be 2d4 plus fighting stat, which for me is 4. This has the capability to do 12 damage, which is pretty gnarly. 6 bulk, 2 range. Target rolls mitigation at disadvantage. Okay. Do this just so we have it. Okay, there we go. That seems reasonable, I guess. Oh, Aeon. Dude, Aeon, if you were in here, you should have said something.
Hello.
What's up, dog?
Not much. How about yourself?
What? I didn't realize that you were just sitting in here waiting.
I literally got in there like a minute or 2 ago.
How are you?
I'm okay.
I am making a character in the system that I built.
See that? What?
What?
What virtual tabletop is that?
Oh, this one? It's Foundry.
Yeah. Is it Foundry? Oh, cool.
Yeah. I'm using the Savage Worlds setup.
Mm-hmm.
And that's mainly just because I had it available and I had a bunch of stuff already set up.
That's fair. That is fair.
Yeah, I thought so.
I love that there's now a new thing on YouTube yelling at you if you have ad blocker on.
Really?
Yeah.
Bruh. Alright. I need a second weapon for this character. I don't really know what to pick.
What do you have currently?
I got a massive melee as like a buster sword type thing. And going into like close quarters with this scenario, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give him a medium melee, so we have options. Perhaps. I want to give him a small melee.
Yeah, I was about to say medium or small, probably.
Yeah, I want the small melee in case he really needs to do some ranged. Like, I don't have any bonuses to shooting, but it's better than nothing.
Hey, a throwing dagger.
Exactly.
Throwing dagger is always a good idea.
Exactly. Because I have a high fighting stat, it'll be 5 damage. Which is nice. Yeah, that's all the important parts to it.
I've been playing a VR game called Dungeons of Eternity.
Seems familiar.
It's only been out for like a week or two. But it's think Dark and Darker, minus the PvP.
Okay.
So you go into procedurally generated dungeons and then like grab loot and stuff.
I feel I have done this quite well, actually.
Mm-hmm. But my typical setup is, I do sword board, but I also have a throwing knife. That doesn't need range. So, honestly, because sadly, things like crossbows take the back slot, and that also is where my shield is. So I'm just like,
It's kind of important.
Yeah.
So I'm actually gonna make my my warp a lot more valuable here. I'm gonna give myself heavy armor because I've got plenty of room with the bulk. It's gonna donk my speed, but it is gonna give me more defense, which is kind of crucial.
Also, people watching, hello.
Fellow turbo nerds who likes to talk numbers and shit. I don't know if you've seen anything about the system that I'm doing, but I'm rapidly closing in on useful shit.
Yeah, I haven't kept up with it, honestly, but that's just because I've been busy as hell.
That's fair. Alright, so I am now slow boy, however, there's one thing that I do need to add in, which is a new rule, actually.
No.
I answer to what happens if a fucking Titanfall mech just punts you with its foot. Answer, you take a lot of damage. Well, what does that look like in a dice system? Oh, good question. Mitigation threshold for you, Alan, and for everybody watching. Whenever you take damage in my game, you will roll a flat d12 to see how much damage, or rather, to see if you can mitigate that damage, which is called a mitigation roll. Usually, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so it's kind of similar to a toughness check in a Warhammer.
Yeah, it's very, very wargame inspired.
Okay, cool.
So that's sort of your defense roll, right? Well,
all right.
So your mitigation threshold is 12. unless you have some form of permanent boost, like say heavy armor, that ups your mitigation as long as you're wearing it. That raises your mitigation threshold. So if someone, say, does 14 damage, you can't technically mitigate that unless you crit on the roll. But then how do we consolidate more damage happening? Because if you fail the mitigation roll, all that happens is you take 1 damage. But if, say, you get hit with an infantry railgun that can do 14 damage and it maxes out on you, then what happens then? Well, for every singular instance of damage above your mitigation threshold, you take another confirmed hit. So if a normal person got hit with a 14 damage hit, then they would have to roll mitigation against basically their max. They have to crit unless they have some kind of temporary bonus. But either way, they got to roll a 12. And they have to do that 2 extra times for the damage that overkilled their mitigation threshold. So for every instance of damage over your threshold is an extra hit. And even better than that, because I'm a sadist, if somebody rolls, let's say infantry railgun again, somebody hits you dead on, they get a crit, they get an actual 12, which means that doubles the hits that you take from that attack. The damage stacks on top of that extra attack. So you're still taking 2 instances of 14 damage, which means that's 6 total instances of 12s that you have to hit. Otherwise, you're just getting turned to baloney.
Jesus.
Now, granted, I'm working on ways to temporarily boost mitigation rolls, but that's sort of the gist of it. That's how we deal with massive or overkill weapons shooting normal people. How to do, because I want to do mech stuff eventually, and scale is importante. Anyway.
And unlike games like Titanfall, you don't just respawn.
Yeah.
I assume.
No, I do have death.
Like why the chambers?
No, I do have mechanics for death. I'm just gonna do this to make it a little easier to read. I would have done this at first. Okay, there we go. Trying to figure out if people just aren't talking or if my YouTube's broken.
It still says 4 people watching. I don't think anyone's talking is all.
Yeah, that's fair. I hate even asking about that because, like, hey, why aren't you guys talking? It's like, no, I'm genuinely worried that YouTube's busted again because that's happened to me before. Chat just stopped working and I didn't notice for like half an hour.
On my side, it says 4 people
yeah.
are watching.
Thank you, Nix. Thank you for verifying.
Yeah.
It's mainly just the chat. I want to be able to know if people are squawking at me. But okay, unless I have forgotten something entirely, that is the vast majority of things. Right, equipment. This is a new thing that I kind of just came up with. I put this in the last playtest that me and my beta crew did, which is just a server with me and a few other nerds in it. So, basically, I am not going to do inventory in the traditional sense, since this is going to be kind of combat focused and really loose on the narrative side. Like, I want role playing outside of combat to be very freeform, very kind of loosey goosey. That being said, the way I've made equipment work is something I actually got from Fabula Ultima, which is inventory points. Basically, the gist of this is you have a certain amount of inventory points. I'm starting at 4 to see how that goes, and you can spend them on a resupply, like whenever you stock up on whatever items you need for your stuff, and you can spend like the maximum of the 4 to bring a jump pack if you want to be able to hop around, or a shield or an energy shield if we are in a sci-fi setting. And basically that removes those points from your rec point threshold, which means if you take a jump pack, your threshold is your limit, or your requisition points that you have during a fight is only going to be 2. But you also have a jump pack, so potato tomato.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my answer to giant inventory sheets. And I don't think I'm going to be taking any of this stuff, because what I really want is going to be the frag grenades and the healing injectors. So we're just going to vibe for the moment on those.
Oh my god, excuse me.
Barely caught any of it. Started taking leftovers and turning it into turkey chicken noodle soup. That sounds awesome. Don't know if you've gone over this before, but how does the leveling system work? Is it XP based, or... I'm sorry, I can't see that because the fucking...
It's merit, or basically
merit, okay.
kind of like with, yeah.
Like, there's a little emo thing in the way, and I can't see.
Yeah, no, I got it.
That is so frustrating.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so basically, he's asking
right.
if it's XP or milestone.
So, it's very much XP based, and here is that. So basically, I don't really know how XP is going to work at the moment, like what specifically you're going to get for doing what. I don't have a hard one-to-one, this is how you progress sort of deal. But generally, you do a thing, and your GM awards you with a number of experience points. And then you spend them to buy an attribute, which the costs are kind of variable depending on how the attribute goes. So obviously, if you're maxing out your strength, or your body rather, it's going to be a lot more expensive than starting onto Psyche in the late game. So you can buy mana, health. You can actually buy more combat actions, which is going to be pretty massive. I'm probably going to adjust that number because I do want the cost of combat actions to be pretty high, because that's a massive power spike. I'm starting to think 5 is maybe a little bit too much. But, yeah, we'll see. This is what playtesting's for. Yeah, then learn a new spell, get a spell, or modify a spell. And then for people who don't want to take combat magic, they can just learn non-combat magic straight up. There's an option for the lovers, not fighters in the group. But that's essentially what progression looks like right now. I'm still trying to lock down the very basics of how the game plays before I get into what later levels look like. Very valid question, though, to be perfectly fair. This is why I like streaming this stuff. Double checking. Making sure no one else is sitting in the waiting room. It's got French onion, green onion, leftover carrots, and Brussels sprouts. Yeah, Brussels sprouts. Roasted garlic, though. Damn it, Nix. Now I'm hungry. Again, I just had a sandwich. Yes. But alright. So that's where we are at the moment. think we're actually ready to play, funnily enough. Nix, why are you like this? Don't send me pics of food, you jackass. Trying not to eat any more tonight as is. I've already pigged out enough. Okay, yeah, I think we're ready to go. So, gotta need to remember how solo tabletop gaming works. I was originally just gonna do this kind of whatever.
This is my United States of whatever. Sorry.
It's fair.
It's a good song.
Take your word for it. So, I think what I'm gonna do instead, it's just
Okay, maybe not good song. Catchy song. How's that?
fair enough. I'm just trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing with the solo bit, because I haven't actually played solo in a while. So instead, what I'm gonna do is we're just gonna do this like a breach and clear. So I have this lovely map with all of these things. I have a few stand-in enemies up here. And we're just gonna see what happens when we go into the rooms. Actually going to adjust. Never mind, can't do that.
Oh yeah, sorry. As a side note, what'd you think of the Kopesh Hone Edge I sent you the other day?
Kopesh what?
The Kopesh Hone Edge. Do you know the Pokemon Hone Edge, the like living sword?
Oh.
So I made Kopesh version. Sorry. I was saying something else and I saw it and I was like, oh hey.
I'm gonna be honest, yeah, it looks kind of cursed. It looks kind of like something out of Wakfu.
I could see that, yeah. Anyway.
Nix, I want to smack the shit out of you because I just saw a peg. Damn it. Okay, anyway. To see what people are posting whilst I'm here streaming. All is well. Cough Nix. Yeah, so we breach into this room, and I'm using the like a GM emulator for this. How this goes. So, the way this works in the Oracle system, we ask a question, and then we determine how likely it is, and then let's see what the answer is. So I'm gonna ask, and I already got some enemies here that I'll be fighting. Are there any hostiles in this room? I'm gonna go to 50-50. So low generally means yes, high generally means no. So, no.
All right.
There are no hostiles in this room. So we walk in a bit. Are there traps in this room? I'm going to say that's a little bit more likely. Also a no. Very boring first room. So that was pointless. Well, actually,
Boring or not, sometimes having a slower start's better.
that's a fair point. So let's try this again. Is there anything of interest in this room? And I'll give that a 50-50 as well. Barely a yes, but it is a yes. So then, I have a number of tables for this. I have it printed out, by the way, which is why I'm not looking at it on the screen.
That's fair.
So let's do description tables. Roll twice and pick from each. 51 and 19. So roll description. Hopelessly defeated.
What the hell does that mean?
So this is the fun part about solo gaming. You get random shit and you gotta kind of figure out what it means. So this looks very post-apocalyptic of a setting. So if we find a something of interest that is hopelessly defeated, I have to assume that we find someone who has died
corpse
here.
or something. Yeah.
Like someone who has died here.
Well, time to the body.
I've already determined there's nothing. There's no items, no loot in here. So there is a dead person. I'm gonna assume that since they were defeated, this person was attacked by something of indeterminate potential. There's nothing else in here, so we go to the next place. The squares are not lined up as properly as I would like.
Yeah, I
Actually,
just
they are, which is weird. Like the walls and the street line up perfectly with it. It's just that the doors are right in the frickin' junction. That's annoying. Okay, anyway. So we step in. Is there anything in here? Are there any hostiles in here? And I'm going to say this is very likely because we just found Mr. Hopelessly Defeated. So 74 and lower. It's a yes. It is indeed a yes. How many of them? Let's do a D4. 2. So let's grab one of my ACR boys. Grab the infiltrator. These are from a completely separate project. Don't mind that. That's another question. Are these people hidden? Give that a likely. Absolutely not. They are out in the middle of nowhere. So I'm going to put one back here, one right here. And I'm giving these guys profile of Mook, which is just a generic dude.
Just a silly little guy.
Yeah, and now we begin. So now we get into combat. And this is where I hope my system shines. So the way this works, at the beginning of combat, we roll initiative. Pretty simple. So what I'm rolling against is my speed. I want to get my speed or lower. And if I do that, then I'll be able to go first. So,
You roll what for this?
rolling a D12. It's a D12 system.
Okay.
Very annoying for an actual play session. I think it would be hilarious if one of those houses had an exotic pet like a tiger or something. Hey man, you never know. The description tables can get a little rowdy in the good old GM emulator. Let's see, there's a... There's a possibility that you can run into majestically magnificent, which could very well mean a fucking lion or tiger, if that's where your brain goes.
What the fuck does it even mean?
That's the point. You gotta figure out what it is. It's literally playing make-believe with more structure. And anyway, I got a 5, which means I do not go first because of my heavy armor. So we are potentially in trouble. Now, we get into phases. Phases of combat. Here we are now. So, inside is unaware or caught off guard by another, which I'm going to say they probably weren't because I'm wearing heavy armor and clonking around like a maniac. Then we would get a single action. But that's not what happened, so we go into initiative. Roll that. First action is when players that pass their initiative or roll under their speed go. Then we get into Op 4 action, which is the enemy. So the enemy is going to see my chunky ass herpa-derping through the door, and they're probably going to be a bit annoyed at my existence. So I'm going to say this guy takes a step back and wants to... I'm going to say he shifts to get out of melee range, because I do have a massive melee weapon, which is range of 2. So now that he's out of range, he's going to take a single shot at me with his pistol. This is a D12 plus his shooting stat, which is a +1. 10, which... I just realized I forgot to boost my defense. It's still not going to protect me fully, but... Alright. So that's a hit. Now pistols deal 4 damage, which means mitigation roll time, I have to roll a 4 or higher in order to mitigate this hit. However, because I'm wearing heavy armor, I get a +1 to mitigation rolls and my defense. So this is going to be a D12 +1. Didn't matter anyway, so I mitigate the hit. However, if you take a hit but mitigate it, something does still happen. You get rattled. I know it says shaken, that's a Savage Worlds thing. But rattled is one of the conditions that we have at the moment. Basically, each instance of rattled stacks, and you can have a number of them equal to, well, actually, you can have an infinite number of them if you get hit hard enough and mitigate all the damage. But if a character's number of rattled stacks doubles their max health, they pass out.
No.
Your rattled stacks do a stacking penalty to all of your rolls, basically. So with 1 rattled stack, everything's at a -1. With 2, -2, etc. You can
So it's
go ahead.
kind of like exhausted, kind of like exhaustion.
Yeah, but it's a lot more temporary.
Okay.
Because every time you move, or every time you do any action whatsoever, you lose 1 rattled stack once that action resolves. So there are ways to get rid of him. This guy back here, I'm going to say he's just going to shoot twice because he is not happy about the potential odds of my chunky ass getting into melee. So he's just going to daka. Both of these are +1. Yeah, both of these are at +1. That one... Hello? Oh my god, it freaking deleted.
Like everything?
It deleted my character, yeah. Because I didn't hit save. That's cringe, dog.
Oh
my god.
No. Oh no.
That is so annoying. Okay.
I should have been laughing, but
No,
damn.
That is incredibly frustrating, but it is funny. So, okay, we had +4 for fighting. And then that was a 10. It didn't have any casting, if I remember correctly. That's annoying. Then we had 3 defense. Which gives us a 9. So on top of that, both of those hit, by the way. Difficulties. Speed is 4, health 3, mana 5, then body was 2.
What the fuck is this?
No, body was not 2, body was 1.
So I've been having a weird bug with my Steam recently. I don't know why.
It's concerning.
It's been saying my location is New Jersey.
You using a
No.
VPN? No.
Mm. Like even when I'm using my phone, which has my current location setting, it says I'm in New Jersey. Oh, it's just weird.
Yeah, that's a little strange. Alright, I'm gonna just do the basics this time. I'm basically just gonna put damage. So 2d4 plus 4. Small melee is 5. So these don't blend together in my dyslexia ass mind. Nick, stop sending me pics of food. So imagine DM using that against a player who constantly wants to go through a door despite their playing class that isn't meant to go. Yeah, I've seen that happen a couple of times. I've been that DM a couple of times. Not apologizing. Okay, so that is basically everything. And now we've saved it, so that's not going to vanish on us again. So anyway, we were getting shot, I believe. So we need 2 mitigation rolls. Both of these are +1, and I need to beat 4s. Both of those pass. I'm fine. Unfortunately, my stacks... I now have 3 rattled stacks, which is kind of dangerous. Very unfortunate. So everything that I do is going to be at a -3 for the first action. And once that action's over, it's going to be at a -2. So this is going to be rough. So going to move like a so. Like squeeze in here. Basically, I want them both in range, and that's going to take my rattled stacks down to 2 because I resolved an action. And now I'm going to wallop this dude over his head with my massive melee, which I'm gonna say is just a giant ass stick. Actually, no, it's gonna be a hammer. We're using a depowered thunder hammer because screw you. So, this is gonna be
just a gigantic fuck off maul.
Yeah, pretty much. So, this is going to be a fighting roll, which, fun fact about fighting rolls, the defender can choose what they defend with between fighting or defense. So if they have a higher fighting, they can just decide they, dodge it, parry it, whatever. If they have a higher defense, they can just eat it with the armor and get out the way. Doesn't really matter because this mook is very fragile. Let's say that I'm about to roll awful. But is it got a +1 either way, so no matter what, I'm looking to beat a 7. So +4 is, I'm basically looking for a 3-ups, if I mathed that correctly. Easy slap. So now, this is something that I kind of want to fix, is the damage roll, which massive melee does 2d4 +4. So that is 8 damage that this guy now has to mitigate. He's got a flat mitigation roll. He actually does it. So the guy is rattled, but he is not dead. And I'm down to 1. Is it worth noting, by the way, rattled stacks do count against mitigation. So if someone's hitting you a lot and not doing damage, your defenses are slowly getting chunked away. We actually saw that during the last playtest when my buddy Loki maxed out defense. Actually, Loki and Ren both. They maxed out defense to the point where there was like 15 or something idiotic like that. And they kept taking lucky crits from people with LMGs. And I was basically crit fishing them, I'm going to be honest. But what happened was that monster 15 defense slowly got taken down until it was like, I don't know, 9 or 10. So finally Loki started taking damage, which is actually a good thing, because then he wasn't taking more rattled stacks, so his armor could kind of replenish. And then it just sort of bounced back like that. So that's a very interesting take on a defensive build. But anyway, that was both of my actions, because I only have the 2. But yeah, now it's top of the round again, and I don't like set initiative, so we're going to roll initiative again. Which basically means I need to roll 4 or under to act before them. Didn't do it, so they act first. I'm gonna say this could be a very short run. It's, outnumbered. I'm gonna say this guy is just going to try and stab me with his little small melee. So he needs, I've only got 1 rattled stack, so he needs to beat an 8 with a +1. And of course he does. Gonna be a short run. So, that's a crit. When you crit with an attack, you do 2 confirmed hits. So now I've got 2 hits that, to be fair, they're only 2 damage. So I only have to roll 2s on both of these. Actually maxed on 1. I don't think I have any rules for critting on a mitigation roll, unless I just added them in. Double checking because I have been working on this. Oh, here we go. I did add it in. So critical success on a mitigation roll results in no health damage and no rattled stacks. So I only take 1 extra rattled. Small note, all attacks, damage, and defenses are considered to roll simultaneously, so rattled stacks do not carry over from different attacks in the same action. Though actually those were 2 separate actions, so that would have carried over. But it didn't matter because he crit on it anyway. And if I remember correctly... Yeah, he actually hit with both of them, now that I think about it. And it was a crit on the second one, so I owe another one of these. And I actually failed the mitigation roll, which means I take my first damage of the session. Not 10, good God, I would be dead twice. 3 times, actually. Okay, so this is going swimmingly. Yeah. So 2 rattled stacks, 1 damage, and this guy has still yet to go. It just occurred to me that first one would not have hit because he did have a rattled stack on him. Be sure I'm doing that math correctly. Because, yeah, it was 1 and 1. So. Screw it. It's already applied. I'm just going to let it roll. He's not rattled anymore, though. Still learning my own system, guys. Very cringe. Funnily enough, this is actually a lot easier when I'm not doing the player side as well. But okay.
Yeah.
Other mook is a bit concernicus. So I'm gonna say.
So on a side note, sorry. So I told you recently that I started working at actually, did I tell you that I started working at an escape room place?
I think so, maybe.
So I'm scrolling through Facebook and an ad for my work shows up. I'm just like, one of those pictures is mine. I recognize that picture. I took that picture.
Oh, joy.
Yeah.
Also, Nyx, I fucking hate you.
Oh, hey, those people came in like last week. That's cool.
Sick. Okay, so basically.
Sorry, it's just something I noticed.
No, you're good, dude. This guy does not want to be in range of the big honkin' hammer. Well, you're not apologizing, but I still got to say something. So, since the hammer has 2 range, and he can kind of tell that, he's going to step back, which buys me 1 less attack, and then he's going to shoot. It's a very clear target. Please for low everything. I've got 2 rattled stacks, so my defense is currently at 7. Thank fucking everything.
I have a question because I just thought of this. Because you mentioned that it has 2 range and that they're stepping outside of that range. Do you do anything along the lines of like opportunity attacks?
Yes, I do, and my character actually has the threshold for attack of opportunity. So, very good question. Thank you for that.
Yep.
Where is it? Here we go. So, threatening and melee. Melee threat is determined, first of all, this is kind of important. It's determined by the range of your melee weapon. So, my massive melee having 2 range means that I threaten up to 2 away. Just obviously kind of important if your threat range is that big. So, okay, that's just other stuff. I was making sure I didn't put any unnecessary fluff there. But attacks of opportunity. An experienced fighter, which means a fighter with +4 or higher in the attribute, can recognize when the opportunity pops. So when an enemy moves or shoots within threat range, or with a threat penalty within your melee range, which there is a threat penalty for shooting ranged in melee, then you can make an attack against that target once per turn. And it's not once per turn total, it's once per turn per target. Because I think that one reaction bullshit is not viable. But anyway. So yeah, there are attacks of opportunity. I have the capability. However, there is this other rule that I made called shift, which means it's basically a 5-foot step. So you can sort of shift out of a threatening square without getting got by the giant thunder hammer.
Ooh. Sorry, I just saw this. Speaking of, going back a little bit, speaking of the Buster Sword, apparently, and yes, this is what happens when I'm scrolling Facebook, apparently Matt Mercer is going to be Vincent Valentine in the next Final Fantasy VII game.
Oh joy.
Yeah, that's going to be fucking awesome.
Okay.
Fucking loved him as. Sorry, it's just
No, you're good.
you know me. I tend to go off topic a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a swipe at this guy. I'm gonna beat him over the head with my big old stick. This is at +4, -2, so +2 total. And I need to beat a 7. Actually beat a 7. Okay, so that is a hit. 2d4 +4. Remember how to brain, that is 11 damage that this guy has to mitigate. He does not make it. He's only got 1 HP. That guy is dead. And now... now I'm going to attempt to do something that is probably a bad idea. I'm going to throw my small melee. And this is going to be at a flat -1. So probably not the greatest idea, but I need to try and take this guy out. Or at least make his life a little bit more miserable than it is. So the range is 2, the guy is 3 away. You can fire outside of your range at a penalty, which, as I remember... yeah. So for each range increment, or for each amount of your range outside of your range, that did not make any sense. I don't know how to like word this. Well, okay, think of the range as range increments. Within the first increment, you have no penalties. For each increment outside of that, you get a stacking -1. So we have a 2 range throw at a 3. It's only one increment outside of our range, so it's a -1. But it's a shooting roll, which I have no bonuses in. So this is at a hard -1. I'm trying to beat a 7. Did not work. And that is the end of my turn. Top of the round again. Initiative. Of course, I can't roll. I can't roll low on initiative. I know how Rin feels now. Good news, I'm back out of rattled entirely. See, please don't torture my chat. Please don't torture my chat. I cannot speak today, or ever. Such is life. Double checking no one's chilling in the waiting room. If anybody wants to get in on chat, by the way, as long as you don't mind me trying to narrate things, you're more than welcome. But okay. So this guy's turn again. He's obviously very unhappy about this. So I'm going to say he takes 2 shots. They're at +1, and he needs to beat a 9. Watch him get 12s. Okay, never mind. They both ping off of my armor for once. I don't take damage. Yay! Which means it's my turn. So, shift once and lay smacking. Bang. Yeah, I'm pretty sure an 11 + 4 hits a 7. 2d4 + 4, 9 total. Guy does not mitigate. Mans is dead. And that's vaguely what combat looks like. Which, obviously, if I knew my stuff a little bit better, if I was more used to running this, I would assume that would be a little bit smoother. Honestly... Actually, thinking about it, with more people, this actually runs a lot smoother, because I don't have to be thinking of every individual number.
Yep.
Which is kind of nice. Also assume it would be a lot easier if I had a functional VTT in front of me. Torture chat, torture mode. Hey, fair enough. Hey, I had a chicken sandwich earlier that I threw some chipotle mayo on. It was fire. Lots of smoke, tiny bit of heat, glorious. Anyway, sip of the old cappuccino, and away we go.
God, I can use coffee.
Yeah, I know, right? So,
I know it's like 11 my time, but God, I can use coffee.
yeah, dude, coffee is coffee. Coffee is
Well,
everything.
I also have the fun aspect of it doesn't affect me in the same way as most people.
Yeah,
Gay being on the spectrum. um, so it's more of a calming effect with me. Honestly, it's like first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning it helps wake me up, but after that, it just calms me down.
yeah. That I've heard a lot of people are like that. Fancy coffee. You say fancy coffee. This is legitimately like a powder mix that my dad bought because he thought it looked cool. So it's legitimately just I boiled the crap out of water and then threw it in and put some milk on top of it to make it a little creamier. It's actually pretty good.
Mm. That
It tastes like bad hot cocoa mix and with a little bit of instant coffee mixed in, but like I'm digging that. It
something my stepdad does is he will take instant coffee mix and put it with like some like instead of water, like do some cream, do a little bit of half and half, steam that, and then just with like a whip, like one of those electric whisks, just like whip the hell out of it.
Yep, the Dalgona, that stuff.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
pretty okay. It's a little weird if I'm honest, but yeah, it's nice here and there.
Yeah.
So
He
what did
also then has that with alcohol. So
fair enough. So chat, what I just did, I forgot to record that, but it's okay.
I kinda.
Iconic. So I am. You start with 4 requisition points. I'm spending 1 to use a health injector because I don't have time to rest at the moment. Oh, it's up here, moron. There we go. So I'm using a healing injector to recover 1 health. So I'm back up to full. Had coffee and just sleep. Yeah, that's fair. No, I don't think it's from International Delay, but I have no idea.
Actually, might go and quickly see if I have anything that coffee wise.
All right. So, new room. Let us consult the Oracle. Are there any hostiles in here? I'm going to go with unlikely, since we just fought some. There are hostiles in here. How many? Let's give it a. Actually, let's say, are these mooks or are these tougher lads?
Yeah.
Let's say a 1, it's mooks. Okay, it's mooks again. How many? Only 1. You poor, poor bastard.
It's like he went to the restroom or something. Wait, what? I wasn't paying attention. What room is this?
We're just.
What room did you go to? Oh, that one.
Yeah, we're just.
Like he could. Yeah, he's just in the bathroom.
He's. Yeah, one eye is legitimately in the bathroom. Definitely not surprised, but seeing as we're here now. Let's see if we can talk this one down. So I'm defaulting all of them to the baseline, which is +0 on their non-combat stats. So I'm going to attempt to roll Psyche, which is sort of the intuition and charisma based stat. Obviously, I can rename these later if that's incorrect, but hey, whatever. I'm basically just gonna attempt to talk him down. I was like, look, dude, we don't need to do this. Alright. Got a +1. Either way meets beats. So we talk him down. Just for the sake of not immediately getting into another combat, we'll say he just runs off. Man's a spooked. Is there anything of import in this room? Because we did just fight some people, but that dude did not seem too aggressive about protecting it. Not only a yes, but a... Ooh, that is an yes, or an exceptional yes. Which, in the context of this oracle, means not only is the answer to the question yes, but there is also extra. So what is the nature of what is in this room? We go back to the description tables, which were so interesting last time. There's a whole bunch of tables over here, by the way, so I'm looking for one that may describe items of some description. Is these tables long? Whoop. I succeeded in making them draw one, bruh. Creature descriptions, curses, dungeon descriptors, gods, legends, locations. Here we go. Objects and magic item descriptors. Okay, let's do objects first. So
I am sending you a thing that might not be useful for this, but it could be useful in general.
So 3272. Extravagant. Ornate. Extravagant, ornate. We have found their treasure trove. Saw an ad for Walmart and thought for a second they were selling real.
That did not work.
Turns out it's just a 53-foot model one. What?
Hold on. Wait, what? Hold on. Wait.
I have questions.
They made a Model 8-wheeler. What the fuck?
18-wheeler and a 53-foot one?
No. It's a big fucking... Yeah, that is a big fucking model.
Hello. That is indeed a huge model.
Yeah.
That thing you just sent me, I like that. I like that a lot. That looks cool.
Yeah. And apparently it also has VR support.
Yeah, I saw that.
Needless to say, I'm currently downloading the demo.
Okay.
Because I'm curious.
Might look into that a little bit later.
Yep.
I still need to get VR running with Tabletop Simulator, because Rin threw that at me a while back, and I'm like, okay.
I just need to get... I'm currently working on saving up for an actual like desktop computer instead versus just my shitty laptop.
Yeah.
Because I have a link cable. I have a 16-foot link cable that came with I got with the headset. My computer just can't handle the Oculus app.
Yep.
So I can't connect it. But like, because I have a few games that I want to play. I want to try to play in VR, like, like Phasmophobia. Because I hate myself and want to spick myself even more.
Okay.
It's Phasmophobia.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Phasmo is one of those games where, like, I'm like, shock horror doesn't affect me as much. I've discovered. Probably because I've dealt with it a lot. And the only reason I'm saying this is because I went through a haunt recently, like a haunted house, and basically, like, with the sole exception of my boss, because the company I work for is also owned by this the company that owns this haunt.
Faz
And my boss,
scary, she says.
my boss is works there as well. So she was going with the haunt with us. There was apparently a scare that she forgot about that hit her instead of any of the rest of us because she was at the back, and her scream is what made me jump. That was the only thing during that haunt that made me jump. But Phasmo I enjoy because it's not just jump scares or stuff. It actually has like decent atmosphere, which is something I like in horror is atmosphere.
Yeah, I don't like.
That's why
I don't like jump scares because for me, like I've said this a few times, I don't have a fight or flight response. I have a fight and reposition to better place to fight response.
That's fair.
My first, I can't go into haunted houses like that because I will legitimately clock somebody on reflex.
That's also fair. Which is why we always tell people, because one of these escape rooms is horror themed.
Yeah.
And like we tell people, like, it's PG jump scares. There is no actor actually in there that's gonna like touch you or anything, but there are some jump scares.
Yeah.
So if you ever come to Pittsburgh,
I'm not going into any kind of escape room that is horror themed or any horror themed anything because I've learned my lesson. No, like for me, it's an adrenaline jump that has no point, which for me just means unnecessary heart palpitations.
that's fair.
So
I need to talk to Oz, because Oz like literally works like a block away from me.
anyway, let's get back on topic.
Yeah,
it was
sorry.
Aqueous. Don't have a fight or flight response. You have a punch response. Last haunted house I did, I had a hold on so when try to deck someone. Kinda, you genuinely wonder why we call you our murderous son-in-law. Anyway, so we got.
I think this might be my first interaction with Kana, or unless I'm crazy. It's entirely possible I'm crazy.
It's possible.
I know too many people. I know a lot of people, so I'm just like,
Yeah, it gets a little awkward, but hey, it's fine.
and have substance then.
Yeah.
So
Yes, Connor, we know you're violent when you're scared. Anyway, back to shenanigans. So we got extravagant ornate. I'm assuming we found the bandits' loot pile, which I'm assuming these are bandits based on the mooks that we have found so far. Totally not
Would
because
make
it's set it up that way. But yeah, so we have found the loot pile. Why are we here in the first place? Let's figure that out. We probably should have asked that before. What brought us here in the first place? Little crash course on doing solo roleplay, by the way. In case anyone's wondering. So, rolling our double D100s. So, 62 and 9. What is our reasoning for being here? 62 is move. 9 is building. Move building. So we're here. I mean, knee-jerk reaction, and usually people say when you're using these tables, use the first thing that comes to mind, because intuition will usually lead you down a semi-coherent story. So if we're here and there's bandits and our objective is move building, my first assumption is that whoever used to live here sent us here to recover their belongings, which we just did, and to clear out the bandits so they can come back. So we're in progress. We're doing good things. Also, do you probably know me as Riku.
Oh, right. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I keep forgetting that Kana goes by 3 separate names sometimes.
Again, I've slept since then, and I've not touched. I've literally not touched Final Fantasy in like 5 months.
That's fair. I've been kicking it on to do PvP here and there and scream at people in ranked because I've been stuck at Gold 2. And I hate it. I'm going to be honest. I fucking hate it. I'm getting flashbacks to League playing as a support main. Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah. Moving on into this building here. Is there anything in here? We wonder. Are there hostiles in here? I'm going to say unlikely because there has been gunfire and nobody has come out yet. So 35 and up. No, there is nothing in here. There is nothing in here. Zero was having a conversation with Kolar.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I know you know. Gotcha.
Okay, that makes sense.
Again, I've slept since then. I've gotten a job since then.
That's completely valid, dude. But okay, no hostiles in here. Are there any traps in here? Actually, let's do it this way. Let's ask slightly more vague questions. Is there anything of interest in this room? And I'm going to say likely. So 64 and lower is a yes. No, there is not. This is just a room. There's nothing of interest in this room.
Is it ever truly just a room?
More often than you'd think.
Yeah. But next, going back a bit.
Hey, you're welcome to whenever you like. Just, try and let me know somehow so I can check the waiting room.
I'm just there.
Yeah, I'm aware. Okay. Let us ask the almighty oracle, is there anything in this room? I'm going to say it's probably very likely that there is somebody in this room. Because I see the totally not cyberpunk-esque setup with the definitely not gaming PC.
Well, it looks like it goes to their, like, by their bed.
Yeah, so that's like a multiple PC setup. That's a hacker rig. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's a hack rig.
Pretty spicy.
Yeah. So next,
in here, by the way.
Hmm?
I was just saying there are people in here, and I'm determining who and what.
Okay. With the whole, like, you don't get scared, you get analytical. When it comes to, like, jump scare stuff, or if I know that there is a scare coming, I've played so many horror games and watched so many horror movies and, like, stuff like that, where it's gotten to the point where if I can see something coming, or if, like, it feels like something should be happening, that is when it's like, oh, okay. If it happens, it happens. But it's like, what I mean by, like, atmospheric horror, think Amnesia: Dark Descent. Like,
Yeah.
like, even when you know something isn't going to happen, it still feels like it is, and you just, like, that's when you don't know when.
I freaking hate that. 'Cause, like, I'm the type of person that when I played Dead Space, I got to the point to where I had figured out either, like, the algorithm or the mindset the devs were in or something. I always knew when a necromorph would come running around a corner or when a body would come back to life. I called every single fucking one of them from, like, 30 minutes into the game all the way to the very end of the game. I was never surprised.
Yeah, I mean, that's why like, that's why, like, the original Resident Evil, like, going through the original Resident Evil, like, eventually you're just checking bodies.
I'm gonna try something here. I want to see if I can stealth into this room. So I'm going to be running agility, but I'm going to be doing it at disadvantage because of heavy armor. Absolutely the fuck not. Critted, but failed.
Wait, how's that work?
What?
How do you crit but fail?
I critted, but I was rolling at disadvantage.
Oh, I see.
So awkward. Anyway, rolled for initiative. Failed that shit. Again. Against 3, this is probably going to be bad. I'm going to be honest.
Do you have a cleave?
No. So this guy is just going to stay here and shoosen. And fail. And shoosen again. And fail. This guy is going to come over and shoosen. He's only got the 1. This guy doesn't really have a clean shot, so he's going to come over here and do something. Let's ask the Orco about this. Are these computers important in any way? And I'm going to say it's very likely, since there are 3 people in here. Oh. Exceptional, yes. These computers are incredibly important for something, and whatever they're doing is critical to the mission. So we now have something important to do. Therefore, we charge. Here. No, it's not going to matter because he's out of line of sight. Just going to whip this dude in the face with the big swackins. So this is a +4 and I need to beat 7. Easy hit. +4, so 11 total damage. Does the guy defend against it? Absolutely not. This man's is incredibly dead. Just bash his ass straight into the ground, Mario style. Now. Exactly.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. Fun fact, by the way, this is a character that I have actually used before. This is I built the character in Hero Forge, but this is my boy Darren, which I have used in a Warhammer 40k campaign.
Oh, nice.
Not really Warhammer 40k, but like it was a Savage Worlds Rifts game that ran hacked to be 40k because Rifts is already kind of on that power level. And
gotcha.
My boy was a mind melter, which means he was essentially like a psyker agent. And in lore-wise, he was a rogue psyker who had found, like as a gang leader, he had delved into the underbelly of a hive city, found an old battleground where a Chaos Terminator was sitting, and his blades are actually the lightning claws from that Terminator that still have a Cornite demon inside of them.
That is
problem.
Fucking crazy.
Problem.
Yeah.
No. The problem for the demon is Darren's a mind melter with multiple extra edges that make him impervious to any psionic influence. So
that seems like a bunch of bullshit. Yeah,
so I basically took everything that made him impossible for even Zinch himself to fuck with. To do most of anything in Savage Worlds, you have to roll and beat a 4. If it's something incredibly difficult, you have to roll and beat an 8. I had a +8. Understand what I just said. A +8 before rolling any dice. That was just my bonus. A +8 to my defense against any psionics. So despite the fact that this was a literal blood reaper inside of these things, Darren just kind of does shit. The demon screams at him every now and then, but I mean, he's fighting a lot, so it doesn't even try anymore. And that was my character for that campaign.
That just... Fuck, what was his... fuck, what's his name?
I had fun.
It's the Grey Knight Captain.
Funnily enough, Cade was playing a Grey Knight.
So there's a Grey Knight Captain who has a demon sword. It's like a black demon sword, and and the demon's always trying to corrupt him. But because Grey Knights are literally made to be incorruptible.
Yeah, he's just
like, you motherfucker.
Now, there was a really cool moment in that campaign where Sigbar, Cade's character, the Grey Knight, we were investigating what we thought was a crime scene of a Tzeentchian cult of some kind.
Okay.
And Cade's character worried that this already unstable psyker was going to get into something that I'm not equipped to deal with, put a barrier on me that would have protected me from any kind of psionic influence. I'm like, I really don't need it, but like, I'm not going to be rude. We're already butting heads a lot. I'll be chill. Problem, so in Savage Worlds, dice explode. So you can have multiple layers of crits. He got like 6 layers of a crit, which is obscene levels of crazy good shit. And it was so high that it kind of stacked with my innate resistance and just broke the gauntlets right off and separated me from the demon.
Wow.
So my character got incredibly pissed, just chest thumped once, shattered this super crit barrier without a problem, and
put the gauntlets back on.
Yeah, slapped the gauntlets back on, charged him a little bit to make sure the demon buddy was still there, and then just threw the knife hand at Cade like, don't fucking do that again. I'm stronger than you, and I'm willing to fight about it. This is a normal person saying this to a fucking Astartes, by the way. He's legit just said, I'm stronger than you, and I'm willing to fight about it. Don't do it again, and then fucked off. And the Grey Knight buddy was just sitting there like, how do I respond to this? That was great.
Psychos do be crazy. It is common knowledge.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I only approached possibly failing a defense in that campaign once, and I had bennies to deal with that, so it's fine.
I mean, it's not Savage Worlds, but
initiative. I can go first.
Valor and Glory, I think is what it's called. I think it's what the system's called. The D6 system's called.
Hit.
So
Only gonna be a 6.
you know the TTS guy, right? Like the Emperor takes a speech twice.
Yeah.
So there was a
slight pause. I have been forgetting. When you're using a massive melee, target mitigation roll is at disadvantage. I have been forgetting that. So this guy actually does fail, and he goes down. Then we're going to step into the room because I don't like whatever this guy's doing.
That's fair.
It's his turn. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead. I can continue.
Okay. Oh no, I was just saying.
Melee.
There is a thing called Warhams, which is set in that universe with Wrath and Glory. They're using the Wrath and Glory system, and the Psyker that is part of that group is fucking ridiculous. To the point where he becomes a muscle mage.
Oh, that's fantastic, actually.
Because he gets mold flesh. He gets the mold flesh psychic power, which basically makes it so he can literally buff himself up.
That tracks. I can't really talk shit though because my character was like my god. He was literally a Beyblade. I'm gonna be honest. There was this one time we were coming out of a building in a hive city, and there was this Ogrin that was part of a gang, and our Astartes buddy just started walking him down as Astartes do.
Mm-hmm.
My character saw there was a roof nearby, and he was like, I'm gonna parkour off of the roof and just Beyblade straight through this Ogrin. I'm gonna cut him in half because I have the assassin perk.
Oh my god, you pulled fucking Devil's Wind?
More like
Monster Hunter.
more like Levi from Attack on Titan,
Yeah.
because it was a little bit more intense than Devil's Wine. I'm going to be honest.
That is what it's called, though, right?
I
For
have
Monster Hunter World.
no idea. I know what you're talking about. It's the spinny spin.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like jumped off of this roof, spun in a fucking blur, and buzzsawed straight through this Ogren. I got like a 7-layer crit, which was ridiculous. Hit like a freight train. And bear in mind, Ogren had more health than most things. Cut it straight in half. And then it just sat there, eyes glowing, real shit. Not Cornite, but damn it, it looked like it for a minute. Swift update on this. Guy swung with a small melee weapon, hit once. I passed mitigation, and we are now on to a fresh round. So rolling initiative from the boy. Fails. This guy goes first. He's going to swing, fail, and swing. That's a hit. Rolling mitigation from my boy. It's 2 damage flat on small melees. Passes. Realizing how hard it is to hold a conversation while also explaining a system that I built.
Yeah, no, I get it. I totally get it. Don't worry.
Very awkward.
What's this weapon called? What is...
Okay, so...
Heavenly Blade Dance. That's what it's called.
Okay, that makes sense. So, I'm going to swing, -2, so +2 total with my fighting bonus. That's a hit. 2d4 damage +4. That is 8 total, if I can remember how to brain. Mitigation roll. Fails, he's dead. That fight went a lot better than the last one. I struggle against 2, but I run the fate of 3.
That just means they were beefier.
I mean, maybe they were the same stat lines, though.
Tomato potato. Ultimately, it is up to you. Ultimately, it's up to you, like, exactly how beefy they are.
Yeah, they're just supposed to be mooks, so, like, they're not doing anything in particular, like, particularly well. Like, they're dangerous in numbers, but not so dangerous in the 1v1. Which I guess these guys kind of rolled low, but...
I mean, you could also run it the whole, like, these were the hackers, therefore they're nerds.
Mook profile, anyway. No, the mooks are doing exactly what I want them to, which is present themselves and essentially crit fish against people that are way better. Provide something that you can carve through quickly. But yeah. We're gonna say that we have saved the computer system from whatever was going on. Now I gotta clear the rest.
Assistant, you say? Assistant.
Not particularly worried about the story, but like just for demonstrational purposes, you guys can kind of see where the Oracle comes in, and the tables can kind of help you craft a story out of nothing. Which I still think is so freaking cool. Anyway.
I think I'm just kind of anal about. I'm very much a story oriented DM.
Yeah.
Like even when it comes to making my characters, I'm very much.
Oh, like, yeah. Like usually I am too, but this is legitimately just throw shit at the wall to see how the system works, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm forcing myself not to care too much about the story. Which new room. Is there anyone in here? I give it a 50-50. There is somebody in here. D2. Is it a normal dude or is it a brute? It is a brute. Finally.
You found the boss.
Our battle shall be legendary. Just drag this giant thing. That would be funny. I'm gonna say this guy is here. He's a chunky boy.
He's a chunky boy.
And now we roll initiative again. Actually, Phil.
Sorry. I just had a realization. Just put him on the couch. He's watching TV. Just put him on the couch.
I like that. Dude sitting on the couch eating Cheetos. But we have heavy armor, therefore we cannot sneak.
Yeah. He was like, huh?
Well, it's his turn, and he's got a pistol, but this is a chunky boy, so he wants to get into melee. So he's going to run into melee, but this is our range, which means now he steps into our range. We can hit him with an opportunity attack because we do have that +4. So Weez is going to swing for the fences and fucking fail. Jesus Christ. Where was that one when I was rolling initiative? Okay. You guys gonna take a swing at us? He's got a large melee. Bop. It's only a +2. 6 total. We have a 9 in defense. So that is an abject failure. Which means it's our turn now. So we're gonna hit him twice. Bonk. That is at a +4. His defense is an 8. So that is a hit. 2d4 +4. I'm getting a lot of 7s today, so that's 11. And guy has to roll. I'm just gonna have him do this. So switch R. 2d12. Keep lowest. Never mind, that's not a thing. I don't know why that's not a thing. You missed the ping. Hey, what's up, Mag? Mag is one of the homies in the playtesting server, which I didn't ping there, and I probably should have. But I have a tabletop specific server, but I kind of purged it recently to make it more of a beta testing environment for my for the game. So there's only a few homies in there, but oh right, there's no spaces. Now I remember. Thank you, Mag. Okay, so you needed to beat an 11, failed miserably. So that guy takes a wound. This guy's a little tougher than most. He's still standing. We only used 1 action, so we're gonna hit him again. Actually, no, we're not. We're gonna shift out of the door. And this is a really dirty tactic on my part, because shifting does not give any attacks of opportunity, but it's going to force him to burn an action so he doesn't get to just swing. So I guess that kind of takes actions away from us as well. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to hit him again. That is definitely going to be a hit. Mitigation roll. Absolute failure. He takes another wound. We are kicking his ass. Just bonked him in the face twice. Fantastisch. Mag, if you do want to join in, we are in the streaming chat on my server. Let's hop into the waiting room and we'll pull you in. Anyway, that was end of initiative, which means we roll fresh initiative now. And why can't I get that 12 on an attack? Okay. Well, the brute goes again, and he is going to swing. That is a +2, which is a 9. It does make contact, so I have to roll d6 +2 for damage. 7 damage. Mitigation d12 +1. Goes through. Okay. So we are shaken, or rattled, rather. But we're still okay. Second attack from the brute. That's another hit. 7 damage again. This is going to be -1 because of the rattled, but we still have that +1 from heavy armor. So flat roll, need to beat a 7. Absolutely beat a 7. So we've taken no damage, but we are kind of getting our crap kicked in. We're going to smacketh. Is it a +2? 6. That is going to be a hard no. Defense is 8. Now this is at a +3 because we used an action. Rattled goes down. God damn it. End of turn. We're not rattled anymore. Fresh initiative. First again. Okay. It's a lot less exciting with only one person, I'm finding, but that's all games. It's going to swing again. Clean hit. 5 total on the mitigation roll. Easy. Then Big Wooly is going to swing again. Damn, what's with the 10s, dog? It's only 3 damage. And a crit, so no anything. Nullifies a hit entirely. And my turn. So this is going to be at a +3. That is an 8. Just enough to hit. And that would have been the end of that. 7 damage. Guy rolls mitigation at disadvantage, as I remember. Very much fails. He's only got 3 health, so that man's is dead. Yay! That was a 1v1 boss fight. To be fair, it's only really a boss fight because Mans has 3 health instead of just 1. And I think we've learned pretty much everything that I needed to from this little experiment. Oh, Mag is here. Mag?
Hello.
How are you doing?
All right. I didn't notice I missed that ping, otherwise I would have hopped in.
No, you're good. I do believe we have done well enough here.
I definitely saw that you added 2 new equipments, which look very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, the 2 shields. Obviously, I'm a little kind of on the fence about both of those, but I wanted to add a defensive option because, shields are important, especially for medieval games.
Oh, definitely, and especially those.
Yes. Like, on one hand, I want shields to be very powerful. On the other hand, I kind of have to balance them out with other stuff. Anyway.
I definitely see the normal shield being very useful.
Yeah. I want the normal shield, because, like, if you're good with a shield, it's like having a really good boxing guard. You are impossible to assault from one direction. So you have to, you really got to snake somebody to get around their shield, because you can't just go through it. I mean, if you flank somebody with a shield, then you're just, easy win.
Yeah, which is honestly, I think that's a very good one because it's hard to move around somebody with a shield without like
Yep.
those steps.
Well, I mean, if you have somebody who has a and a good fighting stat, which is going to be everyone who takes a shield more often than not, then
Fair.
you really have to be careful of how you maneuver around them, which is accurate to how it should be.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, now, I'm kind of liking how that turned out. Like for a very simplistic kind of solo run through, that was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to figure out something in particular, though. Let's put it here, and it is time to figure out what grappling looks like.
Indeed. How are you going to do grappling? Because
So, my initial knee-jerk idea is to have it be a straight body versus body check. But I'm not 100% sure that's a good idea. I do want grappling to involve the fighting stuff somehow. Because specifically for the stream, I am trying to separate combat and non-combat stats. So there's no real, like, this guy is really big, so he's just objectively better at grappling than someone who's smaller. Like, no, you can actually be smaller and good at grappling. It helps if you're bigger, but it's not everything.
Wait, what? Hold on. What?
What?
I don't. I was trying to do the deep dive or the full dive demo, and it just said, "Thank you for playing the demo." It's like, but I didn't. So what? What? I just lowered it. What? Bruh.
All right, so let's say this is going to be some weird interplay, but I'm thinking it'll be a fighting, like a normal melee attack, so fighting, versus someone's body or agility. Because I don't.
I definitely see that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of leaning that way, and grappling definitely isn't going to be a thing in the skirmish or warlord modes, which are like the more models on the field per player kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, no matter what, for grappling, there will be those stats available. Do I really want that to be the deal, though? Let's see how it goes. This is what playtesting is for.
Yep. Oh, out of curiosity, because I have not been paying attention. What is the name of your system, if you've come up with one?
I'm calling it escalation.
Cool.
Because as I said, I want the system to be simple enough to do whatever you like, but also robust enough to take between solo and traditional TTRPG play into skirmish war games, into full-on war games with like tens of units on both sides. obviously there's going to be some conversion going on to make that happen, and I'm probably going to cut the numbers down, make it a D6 system for that. But scale and escalation, that's the name of the game.
Yep. Also, I have discovered, I think because the game comes out next week, I think the demo might be defunct.
That's sad.
Yeah. Oh well. But it definitely looks like something I'd probably get, just to have as a separate VTT to, Roll20.
Yeah. All I'm going to say is a reason I really like Foundry. There's even like a custom system builder in Foundry that I'm probably going to try and use to bring this to life in there. God damn it, I just thought I really want to play Lancer. Mag's laughing because he knows the conversation. Me and Ren have been talking about Lancer constantly for the past few days. We got Kuyaz involved as well. And basically we're just like, we just want to do big stompy robots to do funny things. And it's going to be good. And I'm just in a mecha kind of mood. Like the next thing after I get this squared away, I'm going to figure out how to do mechs in escalation because I want mechs in my system.
So I, because this is just the kind of nerd I am. Did you ever do a website called Gaia Online?
I remember it, but no.
So I used to do a lot of like forum RP on that, and including I made some of my own, including one I called Blood and Oil, which was a mech one. It was kind of like a combination of like Gundam and Robotech.
Nice.
But just like, yeah, because mechs are fucking awesome.
Yeah, mechs are always fun.
Like,
I've been playing a lot of BattleTech.
but like I remember because the opponent, like the invading alien force, that because you play as either the humans or one of the aliens. Their language is literally just Albed from Final Fantasy X. Like I literally had it, if they decided to play as one of these aliens, I literally had linked into the into the profile thing for the aliens, the Albed translator.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm that kind of nerd. But I mean, yeah, mix of fun. And
Trying to listen and type at the same time.
no, you're good. I'm just. It just reminds me how sad I am the fact that Zoids hasn't been relevant in a long fucking time.
Big sad, bro.
I fucking love Zoids. They need to come back. Like for real. Even if it's just like a game. God, I would love a new Zoids game.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's like the question of, if you do mechs, would you be more Titanfall kind of style, like Armored Core?
I would like there to be a variety, but I think I'm going to lean towards the semi-realistic, heavy air quotes, semi-realistic Titanfall style of things. Because like I want the mechs to be able to articulate very well and to be agile. I don't want BattleTech style barely standing because they're so super heavy, kind of thing.
Okay, so more like Armored Core. Got it. Armored Core is.
I know, but like Titanfall specifically, that's the sort of feel I'm going for. Because Armored Core, you can have them blasting around at Mach fuck all the time. Titanfall is a little more restrained.
That's right.
And definitely want to have the operator of the mech also still able to fight.
Yeah, and that's the tricky part. Like I want it to be viable to have a BT and Cooper moment where you hop into the hand of your mech and it yeets you at a target. I want that to happen so bad. But I gotta goal at the moment. I have to figure out the base system, and then I can build upon that. Because I already kind of know that the mechs are gonna be, they're gonna have a profile all their own. That way I can kind of like more easily control how it works. Making games is a process. About this rule though, how do we feel about that?
Which rule?
The one on screen.
Well, I was like, I wasn't actually looking at your stream.
Clearly. Okay, so to grapple or shove an opponent, roll fighting against the target's body or agility, target's choice. So even if you roll up against somebody who's super skinny, they can still kind of ninja their way out if they're quick enough.
That makes sense.
Bear in mind, this is not an active resistance, so it's not an opposed roll. It's just the target choosing. Well, in that case, you probably just say whichever's higher. Either way, target can choose which one. Actually, I'm going to leave it like that in case they have like a disadvantage on one of them. So on a critical failure, attacker is shoved away or falls prone, defender's choice. On normal failure, nothing happens. On success, attacker may move defender up to the difference between their body attributes to depict brute strength, and that +1 minimum of 1, or simply restrain them. And I'm going to write out what restrained means here in a second. And then on a critical success, as normal success, but you may also knock the target prone as an extra option.
I feel, like this is just me personally, I feel the knock prone or moving should not be the defender's choice. It should purely be based off what the attacker's trained to do.
I see what you're saying, but I also kind of want to give some agency to the defense. Because this game is very, I've been saying quite a bit, it has a lot of offensive bias. So
you could do in that case, but you can have it set so depending on what they're defending with. So if it's an agility, if they fail their agility, they get knocked back. If they fail their body, they get knocked prone. Or vice versa, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
If you're trying to make it so that it is the target's choice of what to defend with.
Fair,
but again, that's just me.
This is also just a critical failure too. So I feel the defender choosing on the opponent's critical failure is pretty fair.
Yeah, I think tying it to whatever stat they use as defense is. It's not a bad idea. It does make sense, but I do feel that's a level of granularity I don't want in such a sort of niche kind of ability.
That's right.
I said it's not a bad idea. It makes a lot of sense, but
overall, I think it's good.
Yeah. It reads a little rough. I'm going to keep a pen in this one in case it comes up later. But obviously, all of this is still subject to change.
Well, I'll tell you on the next playtest, I'm going to try a grappler.
Oh, yeah, I have absolutely no doubt. And that reminds me, I am going to... actually, I am going to copy pasta this into the server. Yes, I'm going to ping everyone. Nobody responds in the feedback thing. It's freaking annoying.
Yeah, I've had issues like that. Like
Just
in
casually
my
call them
D&D
lazy nerds.
my my D&D server that I use for my personal campaigns I've been running.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have this whole thing like this is where you can put some quotes. This can put like shit you thought was really fucking cool from the last session, stuff like that. But almost nobody uses them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It makes me very sad.
Honestly, it happens a lot more than you think. Because like even in this server, like sometimes people just ain't feeling it, you know.
Yeah.
Because like there've been times when the quotes chat goes for like a month without all of a sudden it lights the fuck up.
It's typically Kalar.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, not
Kalar or RJ or Lizzie.
Oh my god, some of the shit that RJ says.
Exactly. Quotes chat became RJ, like Days of Our Lives for RJ for a while there. Yeah, there's a reference for any of y'all that had moms or grandmas that love to watch those drama shows. Fucking hate that shit.
God. For some reason, my the cafeteria at when I was in college for film, the cafeteria at my college just if it was like midday, always had fucking Days of Our Lives running.
God, I hate that. I hate that with a burning fucking passion. I got to the point to where that actually shaped my personality a little bit because I fucking hated some of those people so much.
It's fucking soap operas are so goddamn bad.
Named after his soap opera character, Kana. I'm so sorry. Okay, so let's figure out what does restrained look like, because I'm not doing this D&D or Pathfinder shenanigans where it's just like, oh, you can't really move.
I think you can't move, obviously.
Yeah.
Is typical. And I think other than small weapons or pistols, you cannot use other than those weapons to attack while restrained.
Ha! I have a plan.
Uh-oh. That's never good. That's never good. What is your plan, my lord?
So, the requirement for attacking while restrained is that you have to use a weapon that is one bulk or less, which is at the moment just
Smalls.
Yeah, small melees or pistols.
Okay.
But this could also include if you have a weapon that you've torn the bulk down on. Maybe. Like if you have a medium melee that you just cut down a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Set up shotgun.
Option. Or a submachine gun, rather.
Do you have medium melee set as one bulk?
Do I really?
Yep.
Okay, so that might be a thing.
I mean,
In the end, up to you, man.
It's not like
your system.
Yeah, thinking about it though, I think
it should be two bulk anyways. Yeah.
I'm kind of feeling that way. I don't want this to be a knee-jerk reaction though. But yeah, it does make sense.
Yeah, because you mean large is 4, long is 4, massive is 6.
I mean, so what I was thinking, mediums were specifically one-handed weapons. So stuff like arming swords, hatchets, shenanigans like that. So I did want them to be kind of lighter, but bulk is also kind of how awkward something is to move around. So
and I mean,
that tracks.
Generally, you get a lot of bulk too in the system currently. So it just being 2 is not bad.
I'm also going to add. This happens at disadvantage. So they can attack with weapons of 1 bulk or less, but at disadvantage. That saves us from having to calculate any kind of big aim penalties. Connor, that was a good shout. Thank you for that. And then...
Yeah, my thought was you're restrained. You can't really wield a long weapon very easily while fighting in melee, but if you got a pistol, you can shove it in his gut and shoot.
And if you got a dagger, you can kind of like maneuver around and stab or slice.
Mm-hmm.
But bigger weapons, especially if you're grappled, good fucking luck.
Yeah. Unless your name is Guts. Alright, last time I make a Berserk reference. Got it.
You're good. I'm just trying to sort this out. Guts is built different. We all know this. Actually, that's stated early on. Actually, I think that's it. I think that's good. It's not a very complex thing that happens.
But it's quite good, especially if you're going up against like Rin Sephiroth.
Yes. Freaking long weapon and a massive, just to be extra stupid.
Yeah, but except Ren hangs out with my friend V, and that's always a bad idea.
Do you have any idea what kind of character Ren? Has he told you the story?
No, I'm scared now.
He built a character that's just called Not Sephiroth. And this character had a long weapon, which was, what's the sword called? Like Masamune or something?
Yeah.
And then he also had literally a bustard sword as his second weapon. All of this with, I think he had medium armor, so his defense was pretty okay. His offense was ridiculous, and of course he got enough to where he could attack of opportunity. And then he would legit just step into a room with Ninny in front of him, Ninny being the super tank with barely any movement, but is literally a fucking Terminator, stomping in front of him, being able to swing over him, and being the spear wall behind the shield. All the while, Mag is behind both of them, shooting bolts.
That is fair.
Yeah, it was slightly idiotic, and I absolutely adored it. Now, it turned out being really, really cool to see what is literally a formation of only 3 people just annihilate anything I put in front of them. And then in the very next game, I overcompensated and absolutely annihilated them.
Hey, it happens.
Yeah.
Ask Ren's been in one of my campaigns. You ask him like some of the shit they've had to face.
Honestly, I think
or as Shane sometimes. Or as Shane sometimes.
I honestly think Rin needs to be a little bit harder on us people in his campaigns, because me and Mag both, we have just run fucking riot with him. to the point where I genuinely feel bad sometimes.
I have. So I don't typically, because some DMs are like more like money versus items. I'm very much a items over money. And because of that, like early on, there are some like power scaling issues. So I have had to come up with like very interesting ways of
Swift pause. Sorry to interrupt you. I just had an idea. I have to share this. So instead of, and I'm going back to a design philosophy that I'm keeping with this, which is maximum player agency. What if we roll back the like ability to attack at all with certain big weapons, and let's keep it at disadvantage, but also add a negative equal to bulk.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that.
Because, yeah, that still prevents, like, a lot of the really heavy stuff from being anywhere near effective.
Yeah.
While restrained, which makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
But you're still able to do it if you need to, like...
Ooh, I have another idea. So...
Pretty sure it was Loki, right? Who dual-wielded sniper rifles?
Yep.
Of course he did.
See, I just got my head the image of the fucking red heavy from anything that fucking Cino's done.
Mag, how about that? A restrained character may attack as normal, but impose a penalty equal to the weapon's combined bulk and range.
No.
So, if you have a long weapon, that's automatically harder to deal with.
Well, I've already thought of one problem.
What you got?
Even when you get max stats, you cannot do a light machine gun without a crit, because the range is 16.
Okay, that's fair.
Like that makes perfect sense for melee weapons.
Yeah, I was really thinking of melee. Let's specify that. So let's... There we go. So to clarify that. And that does kind of make sense, because with a ranged weapon, you don't necessarily need to like swing with any particular precision. You just got to get the barrel pointed at them.
Mm-hmm. But a lot of the ranged weapons still have a pretty high bulk, so that's still pretty good penalty on it.
Yeah, so, homie, Loki literally did that. He took heavy armor, max defense, and no shooting skill at all. He dual-wielded sniper rifles. Something that I have since corrected in the rules. That is no longer a viable strategy.
It's in memes.
I think I fixed that. Did I fix that?
That's a good question. And yeah. Now, with that thing, now just add Juggernaut armor on it. On the dude.
Yeah. Oh, I did fix it because I added a rule for two-handed.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah. So if you try and use a two-handed weapon one-handed, you take a penalty equal to the weapon's bulk, which I seem to be very fond of. And that kind of makes sense because the bulk of the weapon comes into play in a lot of situations.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy with that. I think with that change, restrained is good for the moment. As with everything else, keeping a pin in it just in case that crops up later. But Mag, especially with you doing a grappler build next time we play test, that's going to be nice.
Yeah, depending on what day you play test, like, I might be available. If for no other reason than just being a sounding board.
No, that's fine. I'm getting to the point to where I want to get other people involved in this, like outside of just keeping it close to the chest with the homies. So I'm probably going to be making the call out for more people to get into the beta server, and then I'm going to start asking people to run their own games without me being there to kind of correct everything. Because obviously I can't be there for every single game that's ever played of Escalation. So getting that into other people's hands to GM, that's going to be crucial.
Yeah, I would just probably need to get Foundry.
Foundry's not even necessary. It's just any way you want to do it. I use Foundry because I like Foundry. That's legitimately all of it. And for a couple hours fiddling around on stream, that's actually pretty decent progress, I feel.
Yep.
I'd actually offer to do a quick run with you guys, but I feel my brain slowly starting to try and explode.
Yeah, and it's like midnight, so...
Yeah, it's 11 here, but still, fair enough.
After seeing grappling and restraint come up, now my brain is going back to Cyberpunk's martial arts.
Yeah!
And I'm so tempted to go and try and write my own little supplement right away with all martial arts stuff. Because
wait, like a supplement for my game or for Cyberpunk?
For yours, right now. Throw it in.
He's so damn happy.
Because I'm just thinking, so first off, it's like with Cyberpunk, how you need restrictions on certain ones, like certain styles, to get the skills. That could just be non-combat things you need, certain leveled, to access, like...
Right, like with the martial arts in Cyberpunk, you need to have a certain body and agility for some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is dirty, and I love it.
Because, yeah, like... And then other ones, like, say, a pressure point strike, go with wits, because you need the wits to know where to hit and when.
Yeah, and actually, now that I think about it, that fits into the upgrade tree as it is. Because I can just make those modify abilities, or something like that. Or hell, I could just make it learn a new spell, or learn new ability.
Yeah, essentially, it's learn new martial art.
Pretty much, so... That's a little bit later on, but I am going to change this.
DBS, you don't realize, you know what this means, right? He's trying to make monks in your system.
I want unarmed to be viable, so I welcome this. Like, severely welcome this. The problem that I'm going to face, though, is I also want just straight up bare knuckle brawling to be viable, because that's my preferred style. So this is going to be very interesting to see someone who's all monked out fight someone who is just a straight up boxer. This is going to be fun. I was just thinking about, like, man, how do I make unarmed combat viable? That would help so much. Especially if it's an addition kind of thing, like you don't need to... Yeah, that could be just not even part of the base system. I'm thinking of this in terms of like little booklets that you can print out, because I'm really fond of those. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that could just be a separate one. Like, you know,
Yeah,
It
just
just-
like
It's
later
like
on, a whole separate one
Melee
for spell.
combatants compendium or something.
so kind of like the way fucking like third ed used to do it.
Mm-hmm.
With 3.5 somewhere in there.
Yeah, like I've actually got some 3.5 books, but
I have
like-
I have access to all of them because my stepdad has all of them.
like the you guys your player's handbook, then your player's handbook 2, which has some other stuff in it. One of my favorite
God.
classes in there, by the way. And
Which
then
one?
I've got it's like the adventurer's handbook, which is all roguish classes, and I think that one has the scout and a couple others.
What's your favorite 3.5
Duskblade
class? Ooh, that's good. That's
as
good
the
choice.
very first D&D character I ever played, and it was a demon.
There was a that's one of the reasons why I'm fucking sad that Dragon Magazine no longer is in existence. Fucking Dragon Magazine had an article about the Spell Thief,
Yep.
which is, in my opinion, the best fucking rogue prestige class to ever exist in all of 3.5.
Yeah.
Because you didn't need to know the spell. You didn't even need to have the ability to cast magic. You could still just go and yoink.
The almighty yoink.
The almighty yoink. It's like, oh, for like the next 3 turns, I get to use this spell whenever the fuck I want.
Hell yeah, brother.
I think it was like 3 rounds.
I don't
I don't know.
know.
It's been a hot minute since I played fucking 3.5. That's where I grew up on. That's like 3.5 had my first like long-term character. Like did a full-on campaign with them from level 1 to 15. His name was Rikomi. He started as a paladin to Heronis,
Okay.
but then later discovered that his order's elders were using him for their own gain. Like they're sending on missions that benefit them and not the order itself.
Mm-hmm.
And so he kind of renounced his faith for a bit because of that. Because if he couldn't trust the people of the order, how could he trust his god? Like,
Yep.
and so he became a fighter with the Slayer prestige class, and I specifically made him like a Dragon Slayer. Until, oh yeah, no, it was great. Until he went into what he thought was a silver dragon, because he didn't really care like between like chromatic and metallics. It was just it's a dragon. It's a dragon. Someone's willing to pay for its death. And then he got his ass handed to him by it, and it turned out to be fucking Bahamut.
Yeah, that's some shit Bahamut would do.
And so, but because of that, he took up a new oath as a paladin, but it was under Bahamut.
Fair enough.
So he went from paladin to fighter to paladin.
Awkward. Fair, but awkward.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's a paladin to a completely different god. He's also the character who, when I was level 2, I was able to I literally killed 3 fucking hellhounds at level 2.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, granted, hellhounds were not nearly as scary as they are in 5e and 3, so.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it's still, you got the final blow on 3 separate hellhounds.
Kill stealer.
Kill secure.
To be fair, the only time during that fight that I quote unquote stole a kill was because the one that was going after my sister knocked her down, and I had to, and it was one that she had been fighting.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's a pretty spoopy moment, to be fair.
Yeah.
Get knocked with the hellhound right next to you.
I think it was 9 when I started that character. Because I started playing D&D when I was like 8.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
I think my first... Funny enough, the first game I ever played was, I think I was around 14 to 15. And it was like 3 sessions we played Vampire the Masquerade.
Nice. Yeah, my first ever character was a half-elf ranger named Bronze. Don't ask me why. It was me and my brother, because it was my dad teaching us how to play. And so he had like a little one-shot for us. And we were both playing Rangers. I don't know why, but we both decided to play Rangers.
Why does this remind me of World of Warcraft Night Elf Hunters?
God damn it.
I don't know. But so the final, but we were like leaving the enclave we lived in for the first time, like going hunting for something that's been causing trouble in the forest, blah 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 blah. Turned out to be a gigantic crocodile, I think is what he called it. Big fuck off alligator, like crocodilian creature. And the way we finished that encounter, because I was going to be the boss of the one shot. I had Bronze cast Animal Friendship, and immediately turned into an ally. So the thing I was going to be our boss became our friend.
But of course, the only way to do it.
Yep. But like, since then, I just fell in love with the game. D&D is so fucking good.
Tabletop in general is just good.
Tabletop in general is so good. Like I mostly have played D&D. Like, I will be honest, I have mostly played D&D. I've tried, what was it called? It's big eye something. It's like basically making like an anime character. I've tried that. I have the book for Anima. I've never played Anima. I own the book. I've now gotten around to playing it.
So I would like to show stream all of the games that I have that I haven't gotten to play. All of these are games that I've either bought or happened into where they had like community copies or free copies, or they're just free.
So, I've played ICRPG.
I have the book, like the chunky ass master edition that I've been reading through. Apparently there's really good for learning proper game mastering.
So the funny thing is, with ICRPG, that's what my big 3-year long game started as.
Mm-hmm.
We started I think we played the ICRPG for maybe 6 sessions, and then we did a transition into 5e because it was new at the time.
That's fair.
And we had, learned a little bit, but we wanted even more stuff because it was also a first-time GM, first time more than like 3 session plays.
It's understandable.
So it's an interesting system. And then obviously Cyberpunk Red, played that, love it.
I personally have not played the Cyberpunk tabletop. My mom did when she was younger. And funnily enough, she played a completely organic character.
So did I. My one time playing.
Because her entire thing was trying to get this character killed, just because she was curious how long it would take. 30 fucking sessions. Never died once. Never really got close to death. So basically,
when you say trying to get killed,
she actually would try to put her character in as much of a dangerous situation as possible.
So
okay,
I played a character in Cyberpunk Red, which is the newer version, and this is a fixer that I called Boomer. Mag has heard this story. So Boomer's thing was that he had this weird kind of dichotomy about him. He had this really nice vest and button-down shirt, slacks, looking quite prim and proper, until you saw the rest of it, which is this thick, half-armored black trench coat, fingerless gloves that are also up-armored on the knuckles, and heavy-ass combat boots. And he carries this big black case with him at all times. And being a fixer, he was very much this smooth talker kind of character. But inside of that black case was a rotary grenade launcher. Always had twin pistols on him, and he had a pretty monstrous brawling stat. This character was completely organic. My very first session with him, he headbutted a cyber psycho to death. Which got him in the books with max tack, which is going to be important in a minute.
Uh-oh.
This character, like, the whole thing about this character is he's very smooth, very chill, all about the talk, until you decide that violence is coming, in which case he is going to raise your entire operation out of spite. So this character survived in a Westmarch style game where basically it was just Night City go wild. And
I played Westmarch before, yeah.
Yeah, this particular group of people, though, they were somewhat immature, and they were actively trying to kill characters that were getting really good really fast. My character was one of them, because as a fixer, specifically as a gun runner, which was his sort of fixer racket, everyone and their mother was coming to my character for like, hey, I want to buy this thing, but I have to go through you, because rules of the game. I was like, okay, just 10% labor fee, which was 40% lower than the other fixers were charging. It was like, oh yeah, you need a fresh LMG? Yeah, sure. Just throw me like a couple hundred extra eddies. That's fine. So everybody was just all about my character because I was just very generous with the fixer thing. But the big moment. We were doing a heist, and it was an Arasaka event that we were trying to steal from. I forgot what we were trying to steal. But we got betrayed by one of the GMs that was playing a character and decided he was going to do the betrayal play. And he essentially smeared our entire crew and turned on us immediately, almost got us killed. My character runs up the stairs, sees what's going on with all of this, sees a giant bored out Atom Smasher looking motherfucker basically about to skin our solo alive. The rest of the crew is utter panic. And there's Sokka security all over the place. And I noticed, in the elevator, next to this borderline cyber psycho looking security Borg, is a bunch of other Sokka security that are functionally baloney mist. So Boomer puts 2 and 2 together and decides it is time to scorch the earth. We're not getting anything out of this. We just need to survive. So I utter the words that are to this day infamous in that server. This was like 3 years ago. I told the GM, I call Max Tack.
Oh.
Because they remembered me. This is the third time, actually this was the second time that I would have been involved with a cyber psycho. And the first time I was listed as a reliable informant. So Max Tack comes barreling down on the building at Mach fuck. Murks this cyber psycho, takes everyone into custody, comes straight to me over the Arasaka royalty in the room, by the way. I was like, okay, what's the deal? And I just give him the rundown. We get out, we don't get paid, we in fact get fined for doing some shenanigans here. A couple of our guys spend some nights in jail. The guy who betrayed us just fucking disappears at some point because he's a net runner. And the whole thing's a net loss. But no one died. And this particular GM was very proud that they were able to essentially party wipe whenever they wanted to. And I straight up pumped the brakes on him. So yeah, that was Boomer. He survived, I think, 12 or 13 sessions. And on the last one that I played, I say played, we didn't actually play this. One of the other GMs was playing in the game and pulled one of the other guys aside because there was a betrayal play that was going to go on. They were fairly common in the server. And supposedly, as soon as they got into the other chat room, this GM wasn't the one that was GMing on the I Call Max Tack day. But this other GM said, we need to kill Boomer. Like, without no preamble, no planning, no nothing. I was in the mission and I had to die. That did not go over well with the other person. Because like I said, I was fairly well liked in the server. So he just decided he wasn't going to play at all and backed out. This caused an entire shit show. The other guy spilled the beans about the betrayal play. And it all went stupid. Other guy came back, told us what he said, and I just immediately was like, okay, I am done with this entire game now. People are going to be gunning for me like that. If the GMs are going to be gunning for me, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me of, so when I first started playing 5e, which was not long after I moved back to Pennsylvania. So like late 18, early 19, because I joined the server before my accident that broke my leg, and I was like April of 19. I joined this West March kind of like Adventurers Guild style server called the Blue Hoods.
Yeah.
And oh my god, a couple of their DMs were such pretentious pricks.
That's why I don't like West Marches. There's like the vast majority of the time people are chill, But there's always those one or two people that are not fun
So-
to deal with.
Like, okay, so I had a session because again, like as I mentioned, I broke my leg back in the April of that year. This was like this incident took place like May, so it was like not long after I broke my leg. So like I'm upstairs in my living room, just kind of chilling, and we were about to do a session. I was like, okay, because I was on my laptop, so I could do it. But then my Wi-Fi decides to reset itself, and but because of that, and I couldn't get up to like fix it because it was downstairs, and I was the only one at home, and again, broken leg. And I was explaining this. I went on my phone, was explaining this to my DM, to the DM I was working with, but instead of being patient and understanding that was happening, the dude waited 10 minutes at most and then replaced me. As I'm midway trying to fix my internet so I could play. And it was something I had no control over. And he did not believe me about my leg. He actually deadass apparently called me a liar about my leg. To which I sent pictures to him and the head admin for that server.
Yeah, it just sounds like dude's being a dick.
Yeah, after that I never played with that specific DM again. I refused. If he was DMing, I refused to join that session.
Fucking understandable.
Typical company mid-level manager. Oh, I think it was Cade who hosted that Cyberpunk one-shot, wasn't it? Where you basically did the same thing again with a Cyber Psycho?
It's been a minute, but I'm not surprised if it is. Because y'all know how I play. I'm a little aggressive.
Yeah,
Also,
that was the one where I
you're
drove through the Adobe buildings.
yeah, you're the character you're talking about reminded me of there's Dimension 20, right?
Yeah.
They had one recently called Mentopolis, which is takes place inside of a guy's brain, and they're all all the characters were aspects of his psyche.
That one. The one where
Yeah.
Green just does cursed
Green.
at all points.
Yes.
I love that shit so much.
I love
Your guy you explained just reminds me of the Fix. It just reminded me of Hank Screen character, just minus the curse trivia.
Dude, I cannot get out of my head that one short of him. He just goes, "Did you know that for every snake on planet Earth, there is one snake dick?" Just the presentation of that, the start of that conversation. How do you fucking beat that? That's on the same level. That's on the same level as that the game is game dude who's doing the Zoom crashes. It's on the same level as him popping into a Zoom call how to turn your balls into a belt buckle. It's just shock and awe across the board. Make everyone do a factory reset.
Yeah.
I've come across quite a few of that guys. That's always fun too. It's always funny because it's always older people's Zoom calls too.
Mm-hmm. The presentation is so fucking on point though. It's so smooth, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but just your description of your character, just yep, that's just the Fix. That's just the Fix.
Exactly. But I see the comparison.
Characters like that, they have a role, they have a reason. They're there to be. Some people do charisma stuff, being finessey. No, You're just there to intimidate the shit out of people.
Oh no, my character was very, very chill up until the point that somebody was not chill with him, in which case we become unfucking reasonable very quickly.
Oh, right. That was another one shot I played in for Cyberpunk. Still one of the favorite things I did. Same character as in yours with Big Iron. I loved him. Favorite
You
character
don't
I've made.
say.
So we had to go into a submarine to get, I think it was a data chip or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was a large submarine with like, I want to say 7 or 8 decks, almost like, Barotrauma level subs.
Yeah.
The giant ones.
That's another game we played.
Mm-hmm.
God, you remember the Barotrauma one shot?
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. Oh, fuck. I made such a bad character, but I don't care. It was hilarious.
God, can you imagine doing Barotrauma in your fucking system?
Yes, I can. I've done it in 5e. It's fucking horrifying.
No, in your system. Like, in Extraction.
Mm-hmm. Escalation, not Extraction.
Alright, yeah, sorry.
God, I'm gonna be correcting so many people.
But, yeah, so we got into the conning tower that was even taller. I think it was like 12 stories. I don't know why it was such a big submarine, but wait, no, it wasn't a submarine. It was a non-flooded cargo ship. That's what it was. But it sank from...
I expect you to specify non-flooded.
Well, it's underwater. We had to take a submarine to get there. That's why I was thinking sub.
Okay, so it was underwater, but it wasn't flooded.
Well, the parts we were in, there was obviously holes in it, otherwise it wouldn't have sunk.
Yeah.
But apparently they sealed all that off. But yeah, so we were in the conning tower part. A couple of dudes who beat us to it to try and get other stuff on the ship come out. I built him as a brawler and drive or whatever. He was a nomad. I grapple one dude and I suplex him over the railing down the entire massive story fall.
Mm-hmm.
And loved that because first time I ever played around with the combat system and the melee combat system in Cyberpunk, and it's so nice.
Yeah, it is. Well, I think I'm pretty much done with the stream at this point. Because we've devolved into just talking and BSing. Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
Not a bad thing.
Not usually. We're going to be doing more with this later if anyone's interested. And as mentioned, I'm going to need warm bodies to throw at GMs to test the system more. So keep an eye out for that. But y'all have a good one, and I shall see y'all next round.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye, VOD viewers.
Stream has